is Alyssa White, and this is the Dear Journal podcast. Sit down with me to talk about everything from being a girl in her early 20s, figuring out life, to being an athlete, and to my experiences traveling. I think there's something in it for everyone. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and let's get straight into it. Welcome back, everybody, to the Dear Journal podcast. Today, I have on a very special guest. Her name is Bella Viana, and we met in Spain playing together, and we've both been trying to pursue careers in Europe. So I'll let Bella introduce herself. Go ahead, Bella.
Hello. Yes, okay, I'm Bella. I'm 24 years old. I'm from California. And I went to UCSB, which is in Santa Barbara in California. And then I actually haven't graduated, but I left and went to Spain and played for Malaga with you in 2021. Did you go 2022?
Yeah, I was 2022.
Yeah, and then I went to play in Spain because I got injured in college, and then I was like, I don't know what's next, and I kind of just up and left. I was just like, I'm out of here. I left and went to Spain, and that was the first place I ever been outside of the US. And it was been such a great experience going there. And then the second year is when I met you.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah. So we both have had a lot of ups and downs with injuries, just playing abroad in general, which we'll get into. But obviously we both left Malaga after that year. I left with a torn ACL. You went to Scotland. And so you've been in Scotland the last year. So
yes.
I'm very interested to hear about that specifically and your challenges trying to play there as opposed to in a setup academy. We both basically were on our own now after that. So we had to figure out maybe an agent and how to navigate visas on our own and talk to coaches and teams and get proper trials and that whole ordeal.
Yeah. So I was at Malaga for 2 years. Obviously you left injured, which was traumatizing. That was not good.
Yeah.
And so after I left, Miguel helped, which was our coach. He helped me get an agent, and he was very nice, but not just sorry, Miguel, but just not very useful. Useful in Spain and stuff, but
not anything else.
Not anything else. And so obviously I met Callum in Spain, and so I moved to Scotland, and I've been in Scotland for a year. And coming here, I was like, this is amazing. I'll be able to play here. I'll be able to get a sports person visa. It'll be easy. And we had the same agent.
Yeah. That's also an important detail, which was as well. So
yeah. And so I got this agent that Callum was
using. With the agency in England that we were connected through Bella's boyfriend, Callum.
Yes. And so my first trial was with Hearts, and it was a really good trial. Honestly, I enjoyed myself so much. I had so much fun just coming off of we had just finished, so I was still fit. I hadn't played that much because it had been probably a couple weeks since our season ended.
Yeah.
And I just had the best time. The girls were great, the facilities were great, the coaching, the staff was nice, everything. And I was like, wow, I can really see myself here. This is so cool. And honestly, I feel I bagged the trial. I was this, I backed myself. I was this is the level that I'm meant to play at, kind of thing. And then I left after the 3 days, and Darren called me and was like, they said that they really liked you and they want to sign you, but the visa is an issue. And I was like, right, well, what about the visa? Can they pay for it, blah blah blah. And they were and he was they are saying they don't have the money to pay for it and all this stuff. And I'm right, well, my maybe my parents can help and pay half, blah blah blah. So he goes back to them, telling them that they can pay, half of it or whatever, and they're like, oh, well, it's not professional. Like as a club, we want to be professional and do everything, housing. They also didn't have any more housing space because obviously I would have to live there.
Right.
But me, it was just complete BS. Like I was like, this is just annoying. Like if you really want somebody bad enough, like you'll make it work. And I felt like I was that person that
Yeah.
they would have, you know.
Hmm.
So then I think that really like, took a blow to the heart kind of thing. Like
Literally. Yeah.
that was the time I really had to like face some kind of, no or
Like
adversity.
rejection. Yeah. Any of that.
Yeah, and that was hard. So I think my trial after that, when I went down to London, I was just so not interested. Like I was like,
Okay.
yeah, I was like heart is where I want to be. Like this is somewhere I want to be. So
And what
that
team did you trial with in London?
Charlton, and
Okay.
I don't even know what league they're in. They're in like the championship or something for women,
Right.
and that was a good level. Like that was a level where I was like, I don't know if maybe if I was into it more in my heart, it would have went like better.
Hmm.
But when I was there, like I was just like, again, like I said, I was so not interested that I just was like, and I didn't really like the environment either. You go to an environment and you're like, you vibe with the girls or you don't kind of thing, and you huge, and that's plays a huge role, so that's really important.
Yeah.
But and then since then, I've had several other trials. Same thing with the visa, same thing. And that's what's the most annoying part because I would rather a team say, you know what, like you're good, but you don't fit the team.
Right.
Or
Whether it be about your skill than something you can't control, you know?
exactly, which is what's frustrating as well because also like as an American when I first came here, we talked to like an immigration lawyer because I didn't want to do anything wrong. Like I wanted to do
Yeah.
everything. I didn't want to be like going through airports and like checking my shoulder and making sure I'm not about to get like
Me.
like
Uh,
yeah or something.
yeah.
So basically, they were like, you can be here for 6 months and then you have to leave for no specific amount of time and then you can come back, but don't do it a number of times because then that will like raise like
Right.
flags. And so I did. Since I've been here, I've done that twice. Um, so yeah, and I've just been before I was playing with a team up here, where Cam's from in Inverness, and that was fun and stuff, but it's just not the level that I want to be at, and it's not full time. So they're
Hmm.
only twice a week and then a game on a Sunday. So yeah, it's been really hard and really, really rough because especially when you're training with these teams, like when I was down in Glasgow, I'm training with Partick Thistle and I'm like, I can play and start for this team and help this team like win games. I know like what I can do and stuff, but I'm like there's nothing I can do about it. Like it's so not in my control and it's so like draining and tiring and I can't work. Like
Right.
I'm not training, I can't work. I'm not, you know, doing what like I want to do, like that what I love and also now I'm gonna do school again, but there's all these things and
For
it's
you.
depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in school.
Okay.
But it's depressing, dude. I'm like,
Going
oh my
home.
God. No, I'm excited to go home. I actually am excited to go home because I'm going to be able to work, make money. Not making money and having to ask your parents for
Uh,
money is so depressing. I'm actually like the scum of the earth. Like, like asking.
well, it's not easy. Like people don't understand like how you can't make
Yeah,
money, how you're on your own over there. Like, tell me about, I mean, you've been up there for a long time now, like a year. I mean, I know you miss like the team and everything. I
yeah,
miss the team at a lot of points as well, but it's like we were on our own pretty much. You had Callum and like, but
yeah.
not your own family. And I mean, I don't know about you, but like I wasn't around people my age that often when I was going on trials besides like the team, so it just gets very like isolating.
Yeah. I think as well, it is very isolating. Obviously, I have Callum and his family, and they're like amazing, like such a good support system and stuff like that. Um, and I think I'm not necessarily like homesick. Like I don't think I mean Lord knows my mom has visited like so many times. I'm like, leave already, like, but but like, um, I think it's more like you said. I don't know. I don't think I was necessarily. It's just you're not in a headspace to make friends with people that you think you know that you might not be there for a long
Yes,
time.
exactly.
Yeah, because it's kind of like you don't want to make friends with these people and then just like up and leave, or like what's the point? Why is it's not worth it kind of thing, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and so I think that's been the hardest thing because if I had friends here that I was like messaging and doing all these things and like I've tried and stuff, but it's just different, especially when like I'm missing my friends like from back not back home, they live in like Sweden and stuff, but especially when I'm missing them and I'm like, oh my God, like I just want to see my friends, but I can't because we all have our different lives. Um, that's what makes it hard as well, especially like I don't know. Obviously, I don't have it from your end, so I want to hear about that, like being like literally on your own, because I think it almost made it harder for me in the fact that like Callum would be out from like 9 a.m. to 3, and I'd just be like, what do I do with my life today?
Yeah,
Like,
literally.
yeah, and like, do I even get out of bed? Do I just like watch, like sort of stream a show or something? Like,
Mhm.
um, especially with the weather here, you kind of like wake up and it's just like gray, like during winter and stuff, and you're just kind of like, today's a great day to, have some soup, watch The Notebook, and just cry. And
Yeah,
then the next thing, like,
I know.
yeah,
I mean, we
and
were both in like very dreary weather majority of this time, so
yeah, especially being where we're from. Like, obviously, I've never been to Tennessee, but I can imagine that it's like nice and sunny, and you
yeah,
know,
it is today. So a bit.
yeah.
I'm ready to
And,
get tan for the summer, but I forgot what it feels like to be hot and like sticky and
and
heat.
especially being from California and then moving to Spain is basically the same thing. And
Right.
then like moving to Scotland, it's like a huge thing. But on top of that, these teams that aren't full time train at night. So all day you're like, what do I do,
Oh,
with my and we've been used to training in the morning and then having, doing gym maybe and then having the rest of the day to like go to the beach, do our shopping, go to Spanish class, like all this stuff, which I miss it. I miss Spanish class. Like
yeah.
I definitely took that for granted, but having like that structure and then just not, having anything to do during the day because you're like, well, I have training tonight and I need to perform well at training tonight. Whereas when you have training in the morning, you're, if you feel like it wasn't that hard, you can do stuff after.
Yeah, exactly. Your whole day is like building up to that, and it's frustrating because, well, yeah, I was in a very similar boat. Like I didn't, especially when I was in Germany, like I didn't have anything necessarily. Like I did pick up a remote job along in England, so I was doing that. But like some of the girls on the team in Germany were like, "So what are you doing the rest of the day when you're waiting for practice?" And in some ways, I found it so like awkward to talk about it. It was like, well. Like I'm here for soccer, and it's funny because like specifically the team in Germany didn't, even though it's like a very professional team and like the men's team, the
Yeah.
counterpart is like insanely professional. The women's team is still that this is the first year. So like all the girls are still in school. It's not like there's half of them want to play pro, half of them didn't. So they're changing that this next year. But
Yeah.
it's like they wouldn't necessarily understand or respect it fully that like this is like what I'm doing. Like it's
It-
soccer, you know?
yeah, definitely.
So in some ways it was just kind of like awkward to talk about, or sometimes they're like, what's your backup plan? Like I don't know how many times you've gotten that question, but I'm always getting the question of like, what's your backup plan? Um, yes,
Now you
okay.
graphic design, figuring out, but you're also so young. Like, well,
Right.
you're 19, probably 20.
I'm 20, about to be
Or
20.
oh,
I'm
ooh, just kidding. 20, about to be 21. Like, you're so young. Like, you have so much time to figure it out.
right.
Like, I mean, you've had two severe injuries and you're still playing. A lot of people haven't had these injuries and they're like, okay, when I get injured, what's my backup plan? But you're
Yeah.
so young, your plan is football, and like you would regret it, and like you wouldn't be like true to yourself if you didn't, try and get somewhere with football. So also it feels so weird to say soccer now.
Yeah, I
Like
agree.
if
When I came
I
back.
say, yeah, if I say soccer, I have to say like soccer because that's how people say it here, and I'm just
Oh,
like, I can't help but say football. Yeah, yeah. With the team I was playing with here in Inverness, a lot of these women. There were some young girls as well, but a lot. It was frustrating because of the intensity. Or I was like, I want to be here in terms of intensity and like level and stuff. And a lot of these girls, this is like what they do for fun. A lot of them have children and they're just doing this for some exercise or like, you know what I mean?
yeah, it's just
So
a completely different mindset. And like even when we were at Malaga, like I mean, I came there as a first footstep to go professional, and there was still a drop off in a lot of people's mindsets. And then like people just don't understand like how hard it is for women to get in like a fully professional environment and just be around people that also want to be competitive and win and like train and live that lifestyle. Like it's not easy at all. There's really not a lot of avenues for that. And it's
exactly. It's like I forgot who I was talking to about this too the other day, but like especially being American, like in the last 2 years it has grown so much though, like since I've been away, but like you get pushed, to go to college like so hard, go to college, go to college, go to college, like play, right. I've done that, I've done that. But then when you get out of college, if you don't get what's it called? Drafted, if you don't get drafted, what are you supposed to do? Well,
exactly.
you're not ready to like get to give up playing or anything. So right, I'm like, okay, I'm going to Europe.
Yeah.
But what visa? It's not like I'm here doing anything illegal. Like I want to work. Like let me work. You
Right.
guys need
The fresh
people to yeah, like you guys need people to work. Let me help you. It's not like I'm some like crazy like immigrant person that's gonna go like kill people. Like I'm
right.
just here, like
And I
minding
think
my
that's
own.
the problem is like even my family in Germany, they've been so helpful to help me figure things out. And but even they didn't really understand, and I didn't understand how difficult it is to start a new life in a different country.
Yeah,
And even when you're an American, it's more lenient with like dates and things like that. But still, it is so hard. And I have to learn German and all these things. And like yesterday, it all like hit me as well. And like being home, it's not like I'm not progressing towards what I want to do right now. It's just like it feels stagnant because I'm at home. And
yeah,
like for it to really start, I feel like I need to be back in Europe, you know? And
yeah,
so I was just like thinking about all the things I have to do just to get back to Europe and to play with the team at a good level, you know? And
yeah.
people, when I come back, ask me at home, they're like, why don't you just go to college? Like, you could so easily get on a good, like, D1 team. And I'm like, I'm not, like, not aware of that. It's just the fact that, like, I don't want to.
Yeah,
Like, I don't want to play in the US in college. I would come back and play in, like, the NWSL or something, but I don't want to play in college here.
yeah. I think you know what? I'll be honest. I think college like screwed me up though in terms of like football. My first 2 years, no, the college that I went to was amazing. I went to a community college first, and that was like the best 2 years of my life. But then when I went to UCSB, which is D1, I obviously it depends on the coach, but that coach really messed me up. Like, just it's just so competitive that it's like if you mess up, there's somebody else is there to like to take your place and take your spot and stuff. And that's why I think like I don't regret anything because going to Spain really helped me get in like that groove of like playing with some sort
Right?
yeah, freedom and confidence. And I got a lot better defensively because I had to in a lot of different aspects. And yeah, it was a lot better. But I think when it comes to college, like there's no point in you doing that now because you're already on this
Yeah.
role. You're already and you don't need to be what did you say, like feeling stagnant because if you think about it, nothing's going on there right now. So it's not like you're not the only one not, not doing anything. You're still training, you're making money, you're saving money
True.
for when you do. So everything you're doing is positive. Callum did say that as well. He was like, "Why doesn't Alyssa just go to college?" And I was like, "I don't think she wants to." Like,
Well,
I
no,
don't.
and people, when I say that, think that I just don't like studying or I don't like school. Like, I was a good student in high school. I got really good grades. Like, I liked school. That's not why I'm not going to college. It's like for the soccer part, I just don't like how they play in the US at this level. Like, it's way too direct. It's not my preferred style of play. That's really
Yeah,
all it comes down to, and I just wouldn't enjoy it.
yeah. I definitely understand that. That's something that when now that I'm coming home over summer, I'm like kind of nervous. Like me and Callum went to the pitch the other day, and I was like being so hard on myself, like
Oh,
on this on this like shitty pitch that was just kind of like everything was bobbling, and I was like, it's like, oh, like I would like take my touch, and I was just like, why? Like I'm so nervous. And he was like, why are you being so hard on yourself? Like, and I was like, I don't know. I think I'm just like already putting myself in back into that environment of like everything needs to be perfect. Like
well, and
everything needs.
I'm excited to see how that goes for you when you come back to California and your experience playing back in the US because I've been training with the WPSL team. I think you're doing the USL or whichever team. There's two summer leagues basically. And
I
I
actually have,
and I'm doing the WPSL. But
okay.
okay. And the thing is, like, we were training twice. The coach didn't come to one of those practices, and I was like really thought I would make the roster this weekend. But I didn't. And I think and that was like a bit of a shock to me just because like what I would think is well at those practices, even though there was only two, but he was only at one. And so they basically just went with like players that they know. And being from Europe, I mean, all these players are playing locally, all the coaches know each other. So like there's a whole nother realm of politics that start to play into everything. But I
Um,
also realized
I
I started playing more of like an American style with how I was like I was being more forward and direct, and that's just not how I've been playing the last year.
yeah,
So
it
I don't
is
know.
weird.
I already like fell back into it, and so I'm like checking myself, but I don't know
Oh,
if I can play how I would like to, you know?
yeah, that's something that kind of concerns me a little bit when I do go back. I think it'll help that I've gotten a little bit more aggressive and like physical, but like for me my main thing is when I go back is I just want to get game fit again
Yeah.
because I for the last time I've like played a game and like I just want to get game fit and just really just get back to like being being able to run for 90 minutes probably.
Yeah, I don't think I'm at that place either. I was when I left Germany, but not anymore. So that's also hard,
Yeah,
but like
sorry.
yesterday I went out had one of those moments where I was also like very hard on myself like you were talking about. Like I was just getting so frustrated with every touch out because yeah. You know, you get to a point where you're like I should be able to do all these things like sharp and crisp and not
Yeah,
make mistakes.
that's literally what I said. I was like I feel like, but you know what? Also, I feel like it's a lot easier when you're not by yourself.
Oh yeah.
Like when you're playing with a team and you have like a team that you're like playing with, like a lot of the times, like things are so much easier. Like, dude, and I was so sad. Like the last practice that I had with Partic, I was like, guys, by the way, this is my last practice. Like, I was like, bye. And they were like, oh my God, like, what are you doing? Like, and it's so annoying having to explain, like, right, well, I have to go home because, like, I don't have, like, a visa. Like, I can't get a visa, blah, blah, blah. And, like, this is another thing that people don't understand. Like, there's so many different visas. Like, I've literally looked into every single visa. I was going to get a work visa, but I can't have a work visa because then I can't play and have a work visa. And then the sports person visa, um, the team that I've been training with, they're not full time. Their players barely even get paid, so they don't have enough money to
Mm.
do the sponsor visa. And then there's the partner visa that I was gonna get, and I could play with the partner visa,
What is
but
that?
Callum, it would basically be with Callum. It's like an unmarried visa,
Oh,
like
yeah, okay. I didn't know that was a thing. Okay.
yeah, the thing. And we were looking into getting that, and but the issue with that is Callum doesn't, and now he for sure doesn't, but he doesn't make enough money to be able to like sponsor me,
I
which
see.
doesn't make any sense that he's him be, you have to make like 30 more than like 30 grand or something a year. Like, right. Obviously I'm gonna work, so I'm gonna be able to like, feed myself and do
Yeah.
things like that. So it's just really frustrating in the whole thing. And I think like with um yeah, I've just been like really unlucky. And like I do think that especially in Europe, like or at least in the UK, European countries as well, but like they need to be a lot more lenient on people coming and trying to get a visa for sport. Like
Yeah.
you should be able to apply for it and it shouldn't be like that much money, or like teams shouldn't need like a sponsor license to be able to like sign you.
And it's like there's such a drop off because it makes it unequal for women because I'm sorry, like the women's teams don't have the same money to pay for visas like for men's teams.
Oh
And
my God,
that's the problem here. And they're like, oh, well, there's a way you can get a sports visa. Do you know how little of women's teams have enough money to pay for those?
so bad. It's
You just have to go with what you get. Like you just have to make the best of whatever situation you're presented. And I think that's what we've both done. But at the same time, there's only so many opportunities and doors that'll open through connections, and networking is such a big thing. Like honestly, like having the right connections, people don't get that either. Like it's who you know.
Yeah. LinkedIn is like it's like a really good like baseline for like making connections and stuff. I know Callum has had a lot of success with LinkedIn, but like for me, it's just hard because like I don't have any video. Like the latest video that I have is the highlight tape I made from Spain, and that was like that's like a year ago.
Yeah, like
So
my video is also old. I mean, I was injured, so you know.
yeah, yeah. So it's just a really hard process. And I think like for me, especially now, I'm like, okay, I need to be realistic with myself, my parents. Like it's not fair for them either, that I'm like asking for all this money like that they're putting up for like food for me and everything for the last year, that very supportive and stuff like that. But you need to be realistic with the things that are happening. So I think going home, it definitely feels right, and I'm so excited to work again, like, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Like you have
and
a
I
good work ethic. I have no doubt you'll make something out of it when you go home, but
yeah, we'll see.
are
I'm
you
excited.
optimistic to come back to Europe or what? What do you think?
So, I mean, I think right now, it's in the back of my head, but at this very moment, I'm like, I need to go home, play games, get game fit, see if I can get anything there. And if I do play in the USL, I'm pretty sure like I'll get points.
Yeah.
Um, and that will make it easier for me to come to Europe. So I think I would definitely want to do that. I definitely want to play in the Scottish Prem at least, at some point. I think that would be my goal, because I know I can play at that level. I've seen it, like I've played against them, like um so I definitely know that I can do that. So that would definitely be my goal. But right now I'm probably just gonna work on
Yeah.
just just playing somewhere and making money so that I can support myself. I think that's the main thing that I want to do, is be able to support myself and finish school, because then if I do come here, it'll be easier to get a job. So it's just there's so many things that I'm thinking. And obviously Callum's in the mix as well. So trying to like
Yeah, you have a
figure
whole other aspect. Like our situations are very similar, but they're also different just because like for the listeners, for like a point of view, like I'm 20, you're 24.
24 going.
Okay, yeah. So like it's different because I obviously can get a student visa now like I am in Germany. But like for you, you've done that. There's no point. And so you're limited to the visa options you can get.
Yeah.
And I mean, either way, it's not easy, but obviously like I would like to just play full time and train. I'm happy that I'm going to school and I've figured out something that I really want to study and like. And obviously getting a degree is never going to be a bad thing, but if a opportunity presents itself somewhere else, I'm not, like I'm gonna take it. Like if I got to go to England,
Oh my
then
God.
I'll transfer credits or something, it's not that big of a deal, but like obviously you just got to get your foot in the door and then work your way up. It's the
Getting
biggest.
your foot is so important. But another thing is also the environment. Like the environment that you're in is so important. The people that you're surrounded by, like the weather, like you
Oh, yeah,
know, that's a huge thing as well. Like, you're gonna grind it out in Germany for however long you're gonna be there, but like after I don't know how long, you'll know if you're like, this is the place for me or this is not the
right.
place for me.
Well, and I think that this we're obviously on a Zoom, so it cut out. But I
Yeah.
was saying that ideally I'd like to go into the Bundesliga and work my way up. Bella, in the meantime, while we cut out, was showing me her running shoes. So her DC running shoes, because neither of
Yeah.
us know that the On brand is On and not DC. So
Anyways, you were talking about that.
yeah, just like having to work your way up and get points because like you have to play on some sort of international level to be able to gain points to play in England. Like it is not easy to play in England at all.
So make it so hard, which I don't understand why they make it so hard. Like if you're good enough, you should be able to.
That's what I'm saying. So obviously playing in any of the major countries, Spain, England, Germany, Scotland at high level is going to be good. So, but I think I would like to play in England at some point for sure. So that's my
Do you
goal.
like the style of play, and how does that style of play in England compare to Germany?
Yeah, Germany's definitely a nice mix of like Spain and England, in my opinion. Like,
Ooh.
it's not so possession based like Spain, but it's not as direct as England either.
Oh,
Because,
I like.
yeah, I actually do really like the German style of play. So that has boded well for me because I can play the six like in Spain, but then also go forward if I want to. So it's kind of nice. But in England, obviously at the higher levels, I think it's going to be more possession based, but it was still very direct. It's much more American in the sense of like physicality. Like, yeah, Spain is
Yeah.
a bit too much rolling for me.
Oh, that was one thing that really annoyed me about Spain. I'd be like, Ref, I barely touched her. She'd be like rolling on the ground, like grabbing her ankle, and then just get up 5 seconds later. And I was just like, oh my God. Because you don't, that's like a skill. Like you don't get taught that. Like how to, I mean, some people do get taught that, but like you don't, when you're growing up, you're not like, oh, let me just fall and grab my ankle and like
I
the
don't
ref will come.
like in
Like
the US, that's embarrassing. You don't do that.
so embarrassing. They're like hit the weight room. Like
Yeah,
so
exactly.
in Spain, people know they'll be watching the game and they don't know anything about football and they're like, "What? That's a foul!" Like, hello, like when? Where is that a foul? Like,
Really
what
touched
are
him.
you watching? Like, oh
Yeah.
my,
Like the style of plays are definitely very different, but I feel like lucky to say that I've experienced like all three of those because
yeah.
it's very cool to like compare you with England and Scotland and Spain. What is Scotland like?
Scotland's very physical. Um, but I would say it's probably similar to German. It's possession. I'm so sorry. I'm like stretching my back. My back hurts because I'm like leaning forward.
Oh
Um,
boy.
Scotland's really physical, but I would say it's probably similar to German because it's like it's possession based. But I think like it's direct as well. I
Yeah.
would say I would say there's like I feel like in the US like you're pretty isolated when you get the ball. Like
Yeah.
things are more spread out, much more 1v1s, like
It's very individual, unfortunately.
exactly. And I think, here it's been more like, working together, like stay close together so that you can, pass the ball to someone in the midfield and you can, move it from side to side. That's one thing though that like I feel like depending on the team, like with Partick, like they would just like kick it like up the pitch and then the striker would like be like, where am I supposed like I'm flicking the ball onto no one
Yeah.
because there's no one behind me. So I think it varies. Obviously, like they're sixth in the league, and they're the only non-full-time
Yeah.
team in the top six.
Okay. Yeah.
So everybody else is full-time, so everybody else will be playing differently or have some sort of edge on them just
Three.
because,
Yeah.
yeah. But
I think,
yeah, the
I mean, I'm excited to see what you do regardless because I think if you want to make it back to Europe, you will. It's really up to you.
yeah, I hope that I do. I'll see what happens as well because right now it's just kind of like stressful. Oh yeah, and we were talking about for people that are watching this, if you need a highlight video made, Alyssa is the one to go to because she made Callum, my boyfriend, a little highlight video, and he won't stop talking about it. It's gotten to the point where it's annoying. We're we're sat at lunch today, and his dad's like, "Oh, you need to fix like the picture on your old highlight tape because it just looks old." And I was like, "Well, I don't know how I'm supposed to do that because like it just is old." Like there's yeah. He's like, "Yeah, yeah," and he's like, "You should get Alyssa to help you. She made mine, and it's really good. Like she did a great job. She did a
Yeah.
great." I'm like, yes, your highlight video is great. It looks great. He won't stop talking about the Zoom.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just
Well,
saying if
thank
you
you
need
for that shout out. We got to have our little side hustles. So, you know, but it's like, yeah, even just those kind of things are fun to stay like I want to do like media, but like in sports, and that whole team. So, like with Herta, I think there's so many opportunities that I'll be able to get with them and like possibly do an internship at the club as well, which I'm excited about.
that'd be
Like
really
the
fun.
media team. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Have you started applying for the student visa?
oh yeah, like I thought I told you I got into a school.
No, you did tell me, but have you started like do you have all the
Oh,
paperwork, like, all that?
yeah,
'Cause that's another thing. There's so much paperwork.
there's a
Like
lot.
so
I'm
much
pretty
paperwork.
sure.
It almost puts you off like trying to get a visa.
Oh, I
Like
know.
it's just this is like way too much work. Like
Oh, I
just
I talked to like friends that want to go live abroad, and I'm like, okay, well, there are going to be things that you have to do, and then by the end of the conversation, it just sounds so disheartening, and I'm
yeah.
like, yeah, this is a lot actually.
Do I want to do this? Like, do I want to get FBI background checked and have to get my biometrics and my
Well, luckily, I already have a lot of that, so because of Spain and everything, so I'm pretty much just trying to learn German to pass the test for
oh,
that, and then yeah,
you have to pass that.
yeah, there's like an A1 test you have to pass. I know.
My God, that's insane.
In general, I feel like I mean, I'm proud of both of us. We've both been able to support each other from like a far distance as
Um,
well. Like I still haven't seen you since Spain, which is crazy.
I
But
know.
at the same time, like you've been super supportive of both like, sound
Yeah,
bored, when things are just getting too overwhelming because lately it's happening a lot just because it's like a lot to do and
a lot.
directionless. You can feel very directionless at times when you're the one having to motivate yourself to go do stuff. So in that sense, I'm very grateful to have like you and like all the other teammates from Spain, like genuinely. So I do miss all of you, but
God,
we'll
yeah, I miss.
have a reunion soon. I thought I would see you at some point at least, but now
Yeah,
back to
well,
you.
you were in the UK, but then things just went south.
Yeah, so
Then funny, and I was like, oh my God, what's going on?
so I was so happy though to have Bella on today. And Bella, go ahead and social media is kind of a big part sometimes in women's sports. So shout out your Instagram and whatever else, and you guys should go follow her and follow her journey because she's might be posting more about it soon.
Yes, I might. I only have Instagram, so that's basically all I'm gonna shout out. It's underscore BEELLLAAA underscore. I was 15 when I made it. Don't hate on me. I don't know what to change to, so
Her name's Bella Viana. So thank you for coming on the show today. I'm really happy that we got to talk about both of our experiences and just kind of enlighten people on the struggles, the ups and downs, sometimes more downs than ups, but at the end of the day, it's a whole process. So
And
I'm,
it's definitely it'll definitely for people that like maybe are too scared to try something like this. Honestly, do it because no matter the outcome, good or bad, in terms of like the sport or whatever, you learn so much about yourself. Like, and you meet cool people. The amount of people that I've met, like
yeah,
going over is like I met my boyfriend going overseas,
right.
and like so many good people that like I'll forever be in contact with. So that's something that you
That's
can't hate.
as well, like
Yeah.
experiences over everything. So very grateful for that. But yeah, thank you for, sharing your experience today, Bella. I miss you. I'm so happy to have you on today. So, and for everybody listening, I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast episode today, and I will see you next time.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening to the Dear Journal podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and I'll see you next time.